Okay, welcome to my very serious Baldur's Gate playthrough, where I will be limited to some quite specific rules, which you can pause to read on the screen here. But the short version is that I am only allowed to use Salami for my main weapon, and I am not allowed any companions at any point, though temporary allies are fine. I have workshopped a rough, not that thoroughly tested build for this, which I'm going to try, and we are trying to beat the game on Tactician difficulty. I have beaten the game once, and that was on Tactician. It sure as heck wasn't with Salami. I'm going to go with the Gnome for this run, because the build's a bit unconventional, and I think the advantage on intelligence, wisdom and charisma saving throws is going to be amazing. I'm going to go with a rock gnome because the speak with animals and forest gnomes will be redundant because of my build. The deep gnome would have been objectively better with the longer dark vision and the stealth advantage, but going a stealthy route didn't seem to be in the spirit of a salami wielding maniac. I'm going to go with the outlander route here for the extra athletics for pushing folks off stuff, which is always amazing, and the nature, was it no survival, sorry, because I believe that will help with finding buried treasure and stuff. The stat spread, it looks crazy. We are rolling a barbarian who is mainlining wisdom and has no strength. Don't question it. don't at me with your, crazy notions. This is a min-max build, but we are going to be dipping into cleric later, and that's why I'm doing it this way. It may become obvious to some of you already what I'm about to do. I will say as well, obviously I could have put loads of points into strength here and done it totally differently, and then just respect with withers later. But I thought, it'll be a more interesting challenge maybe if I build right from the outset with the ability point spread that I plan to have, rather than sort of abusing withers respec. So yeah, the opening will be a real struggle. I've also, for anyone who might be wondering, hey, there's a better way to get around the rules you've had, and that would be to roll a paladin, use paladin, because smite, you could just hit them with the salami and smite for a bajillion damage and just long rest. I decided to rule that out as well, because I just feel like at that point you're just playing a paladin where 80% of your damage comes from your smite ability, not from the actual weapon. It would sort of, I don't know, defeat the purpose of the challenge run, right? So that's why I'm not planning on even dipping into Paladin, let alone starting with the Paladin class. I went with strong looks for all involved here. But I figured the Salaminator is good enough. Really captures the essence of what we're going for. And it's a look as well that,
my head,
while not perhaps commanding respect, does demand your attention. Oh yeah, so we're going to yoink the brain here, because that axe we start with, useless to us. So in the absence of Salami, all we can do is punch.
An opportunity. You could cripple the strange
and since
creature,
we're allowed
making it more subservient,
non-companion
should it prove a
allies,
threat.
this little guy will help us out a bit in the intro. Not spectacularly so, but I imagine it's possible without using this guy. But frankly, why subject yourself to that level of tedium of just RNG? So here we bumped into Lae'zel. I'm obviously skipping through parts of this and the cutscene and stuff. So obviously we're going to rob Lae'zel blind of anything worth taking. And then we are going to yeet her into the chasm, because her presence in this fight would be a flagrant violation of the rules of the run, that being it's not just a Salami run, but a solo run.
I'll strike you down.
And I'm going to speed through this segment because it's just not that interesting at the start, right? You're doing a lot of punching things. There's not a lot of strategy involved. You're just kind of face rolling through. The prologue is so easy that even in this scenario, this is just a doddle. So punch, 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 floor, 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 and we're done. And then we just loot the room for all these useless weapons that we can't utilize. It's all just sale for selling, you know. It's all just vendor fodder. That's what I'm looking for.
I'll give it a shot.
Alright, so this bit's nominally more tricky. Oh no, not this bit. This bit's fine. This bit's still easy. I didn't even notice actually that Lae'zel comes back auto-magically without you even using a healing pod or anything. So at this point I was oblivious to her presence. I was looking around the room and started pressing buttons to start this fight because I figured I might as well do the fight because it'll be more XP, right? So then I noticed and yeeted her into the chasm again through several walls.
Sometimes the only way out is
very plausibly.
Very well.
And luckily the initiative was high, so she could do that before any enemies took a turn, which means it didn't in any way influence the fight, so I didn't need to like reload or anything. Again, this is pretty trivial. I believe the saving throws against these acid splashes are the Dex or Con, which are very similar in this build. So I'm saving quite reliably against those splashes, and get a nice little crit in at the end. So that's obviously trivial even when you're just down to your fists and no companion. You see Shadowheart, give her a damn good ignoring for obvious reasons.
Here we go.
Yeah, and then I came in here to get a bit more loot and get the key for that little strong box. And this cutscene's just generally very cool. I love that little bit of animation you can see before the smoke, you know, the mist settles in, and you can see the sort of tentacles just like erupting from their face. It's pretty gnarly. I didn't actually quite like catch that the first time I saw that cutscene. And then we're onto the bridge. So some very juxtaposed Mind Flayer competence versus incompetence. And then yeah, I'll speed this up again because frankly it is just a mad dash with some punching. Like it's not that enthralling. And it would drag quite a long time. I think this is like 4 times speed I'm playing this. So you kind of want to clear the initial stuff so it's not going to be piling up on you, because there are more enemies that appear at the end of the bridge. But sometimes in this fight the Mind Flayer does really well and like keeps stun locking the I can't remember the lore name for them. The demon fella. They've got some long name beginning with C, I can't remember. Yeah, and then sometimes it just eats shit immediately. So you do kind of have to watch how he's doing and try and get through as quick as possible. But again, even when just down to your fists, as a barbarian who's raging, it's not that worrisome. And this little guy helps a lot clearing up the stuff straggling behind. Looted a few bits on the way, like not that guy, but yeah, there's little gems and stuff you can get on the way through, which there's generally plenty of time to gather. This music is fucking trip on this speed. Yeah, and then again, we're just... Barbarian Rage just lets you soak up quite a lot more damage than you ordinarily would, and we can just push right through that crowd, eat the opportunity attacks with very few Fs given. 1 damage, whatever. And then we made it. So that bit is easy. That's 0.1% of the way there. It's easy. In the tutorial, it's easy. I left this cutscene in just because, I don't know, it's cool. And it's somewhat undercut by my character's appearance. And I'm childish and it amuses me. It sort of looks like if you were to have a cult dedicated to Sheer Gorath from the Elder Scrolls. That's how I imagine the dress code would be something like, you know. Though I guess the robes would be much fancier. The moustache is definitely on point. Okay, now we're on the beach. We're just going to loot everything, as you'd expect. I'm just going to skip over all of that. We bump into Shadowheart, who is surprisingly not that miffed.
You'll probably break your arm.
But our attempt to flex does not go down so well. I wonder if she knows we've got 8 strength on this barbarian build. We're going to pick Shadowheart up.
Or just company for our final moments. But you're right. Whatever lies ahead will be a little less daunting with support.
And then follow the usual rigmarole of taking everything worth taking. Those revive scrolls are worth quite a lot. And the food is useful. And then dismissing them.
If you're sure. As you like. Perhaps I'll see you at camp.
And I'll just gloss over that in the future. And then we run into these intellect devourers. I didn't remember there being 3 of them. It turns out this is a problem. And I get my shit absolutely rolled. So this very quickly becomes apparent as a non-starter at level 1. Without potentially a lot of save scumming or like burning through a shitload of potions. And it basically just didn't seem legit. So I don't think that's a feasible fight. And elect to sneak my way past it until we can level up a bit and come back and get the XP for killing these guys.
Let's have a look.
And loot a little bit along the way. I mean, loot everything, to be clear. Loot absolutely everything that isn't bolted down, as is my way. And we run into Gale. Go through the usual rigmarole.
Anyone?
I actually almost failed to recover him. Not that it enormously matters, but I thought I'd just roll and see what happens. I figured at least if I rescue him from the portal, you know, we get an extra little bit of loot for selling to vendors. It's not like we can do anything with Gale. Obviously, we landed the ship safely and saved the day.
That vast burning wreckage behind you somewhat contradicts your story, but here you stand. So who am I?
I just really like that bit of writing. Gale kind of reminds me of Alistair from Dragon Age Origins, actually. And we get to level 2. Now you might be thinking, oh, finally, you know, we can start leaning into this barbarian class and really get some more, you know, combat prowess, and maybe nope, we're going to dip straight into rogue. A completely, at the moment, useless multi-class, because sneak attack is only imparted on finesse weapons. And it may come as a shock to you to learn that Salami is not a finesse-based weapon. Stomp some more Mind Flayer Skull.
Monster.
What that rogue subclass does for us is get us towards level 2 in rogue, which we'll need very soon, and give us some much needed sleight of hand skill. We bump into Asterion, who is annoying as ever, and outdecks him with our barbarian.
Turns should do it.
And we do some looting. Obviously, I went through the usual rigmarole with Asterion of taking all of the useful stuff and dismissing him. Yeah, you'll see later why I dipped into Rogue. Hopefully it'll become more obvious. None of this is to say that I've done all of this in the most methodical and, you know, like, optimal order. This is another long fight where I figure at level 2 I could probably come back and punch these guys out. So it was pretty close. As you can see, I get pretty low numerous times, and we do have to burn quite a few potions. But I figure as we level up, these health potions will be less and less useful in combat anyway. So I don't mind burning through them. I had a terrible problem first time I played this game of hoarding so much stuff. Like I had, like, you know, 100 or more of those small healing potions. I discovered this buried treasure, and then realised the shovel is behind a fight over here that there is absolutely not a snowball's chance in hell of me winning. So while I'm deciding what to do with that, I decided to go and pick up this sneaky chest that I realised was there this time around, having obliviously stumbled past on my first playthrough of this game. There's a lot of things like that, where you just walk straight past stuff. This chest up here, it's not amazing. The fire resist elixir is nice. The caustic bulb is nominally useful early game.
You both twice as tall as me, but have half the bloody backbone. Got ourselves competition already. That's our shit.
I decided this fight I could actually probably talk my way through it, and yeah, sure enough, as a barbarian we have advantage on intimidation, as well as expertise. So yeah, not too much to worry about there. Tell these guys to jog on.
Well, in that case, come on you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese! Now move it!
I love the dialogue in this game.
Everything all right out there?
I had just never chosen this option before, so I just wanted to see what it did if you just tell him all his buddies had abandoned him. So I just went ahead and, because I mean, all of the other options were charisma based and -1, so I was like, well, screw it, right?
Yeah. I've always were a bit soft, but I've got plenty of friends who ain't soft. Come in here and you can meet them.
Right. So Lister from Red Dwarf tells us to get bent, basically. And I figure, well, I'll pick the lock just because I can. But going through their face first is a really bad idea. For the record, the fight before that we avoided with the intimidation check, like, that fight is brutal at level 2, even just playing normally, in my opinion, compared to everything else around this area. So Lae'zel's dead. So the encounter that's usually here isn't here. As far as I know, that's what's happened. For some reason, there's a crazy bugged levitating piece of her cage there. Don't know why. And then we get this. The first major fight.
Open the bloody gate!
And Aradin yelling at Zevlor, as usual. The first attempt at this fight did not go well. I'll just say that. It did not go well. So I've glossed over the major events here, which are Will getting one-tapped off the board in one round of combat. Just eating shit to an unprecedented degree. And then Aradin not long behind him. I had thought, you know what, maybe I can just sit this one out and let the tieflings and the mercs deal with it. Absolutely not the case. It gets down to Zevlor on like 1 hit point, and I'm like, well, screw it. I gotta try and avoid. It distracts him with some attacks from him for a bit, but I just get completely demolished. So this time I decide to try and make myself a nuisance without making myself a target, which is pretty hard as a salami gnome with no salami. Also have lots of difficulty getting a shove here, where I was trying to shove him off the ledge, but I just don't have the strength for that. It's just a bit too far, and there's lots of red lines where it's like, oh no, we can't put the character here, so it just auto-fail, basically. So I just give up and punch them for 1 damage. Obviously, I don't have any rage up at this point, but I figured I could probably do this without long resting. If I'd failed this time, I would have probably just gone back and been like, okay, well, I'll just long rest before the fight and get my rage stacks back, rage charges. But this fight somewhat exists on a knife edge anyway, so if you can just disrupt a little bit, then it's not too bad. Zevlor's capacity for missing high ground shots is just incredible to me. He does it so often. Like, I wonder how much dex he has. Yeah, Will doing somewhat underwhelming damage. So I basically, I'm just gonna punch this guy, I think, and then push them and try and get away or something. I can't exactly remember what I did here. Let's see. Let's find out together what half-baked idea I had. Yeah, I was like, well, I can push them slightly closer to the edge for next time, and then just, try and punch them. I think I kicked them in the head for 1 damage. Without rage, you are just a paperweight with no weapon in your hand in particular. They somehow missed me with a bow attack there. That was a nice hit from Zevlor at least, so that he gets taken out. Brath, is it Brath? Bath is eating shit. They seem to do that in every iteration of this fight. Will is doing a lot better this time though, so that helps quite a lot. The warg is probably the most dangerous thing there, but I think it's within the capability of the Aradin in particular to deal with that. I get the shit shot out of me, which is fun, but it is less DPS going towards the people who can actually, do damage and change the battle. So I'm sort of doing my job by just getting the shit kicked out of me instead of other people. That's about all I can do. This is baffling. Will throws a healing potion at the goblin archer that I'm fighting. And so I'm like, well, fuck you, Will. If you're going to be like that, we finally succeed our athletics check and push that goblin off the ledge. And I'm like, alright, well, if it's going to be like that, then screw you. And I start looking at things to throw back at Will, mainly out of spite at this point. My voice is starting to go a little bit now because I've been super ill for a couple of weeks, so sorry about that. I think we decide to just make everyone down there bleed in a sort of basically a childish fit of vengeance that I have, and then I decide, screw you, I'll throw a spike bomb, hitting as many allies as enemies into the middle of everything, and just leave, and you idiots can sort it out. I'm not putting up with this. Unfortunately, the archers start chasing me down, but it's, again, more turns they're burning, not shooting into the allies, and that misses, which is good, because I don't actually have very much health at this point. Zevlor picking off another one from the high ground. Aradin's still reasonably healthy. He's getting hit by a lot of stuff though. I decide to use a Void Bulb, since they don't have a huge amount of uses in most situations, and certainly not in the mid-game. I hung on to these for ages in my proper playthrough, and I just never really used them. Because you can't push people off ledges with them or anything like that, so they're pretty situational for like gathering everyone for like an AoE for a wizard or something, which obviously again isn't going to apply in this playthrough, since it would be my action to do that, and then they'll just all move. I'll probably keep one or two hanging around if I remember to, just in case I've got like a random wizard on my side in a fight like this or something, but it's a bit whatever. It's generally something better you can do. But yeah, I yeeted them off the slightly away down the cliff, and then
don't want to draw any attention.
Get a bit closer again and hide, just in case there's some way I can intervene. I think that's Aradin finally eating shit. Will died, I think, a turn or two ago as well. Which, you know, in any other game I'd be like, oh. But in this game, especially after that ridiculous healing potion throw he did,
The gods are watching me.
I couldn't give less of a toss. Yeah, they start attacking the gate at some point, which is weird, because it's the archers who could shoot Zevlor who are shooting the gate, and the bugbear who could not hit Zevlor other than throwing stuff, I guess, just sort of stands there growling instead of hitting the gate with his big club. I don't get it. There's not a lot of logic in some of these turns. And then we get one of the classic Larian sort of NPCs holding onto their turn for a while they try and figure something out. But I generally find it doesn't happen much in Act 1. It seems to happen more in later segments. Maybe that's just because of the higher complexity of later fights with more enemies who have more abilities to work out. I don't know. At this point, we are just fully embracing our role as a spectator to this fight while Zevlor sort of picks people off. I decide I can actually reach this guy by jumping, but with this little health and with a sort of sense of the need to conserve my limited health potions, we got 9 left at this point. Maybe better to stay out of this one. Again, shooting Zevlor, but also shooting the gate, the other archer. Quite strange. Another one bites the dust.
At the ready.
So, just dipping in and out of this fight. Yeah. I feel relatively safe to get involved now. We're quite clearly going to be resting soon anyway, so as long as I don't die, then I'm not too worried about taking damage at this point, because we're about to hit the first major town, where there'll be a lot of non-combat based stuff going to traders, and then inevitably resting.
May the gods take you first.
Yeah, 1 damage on our amazing non-sneak attack sneak attack.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may
All
follow!
one of you.
Open the gate!
Right, and then obviously we're just going to loot everything up. There's quite a lot of useful stuff on these corpses, and obviously
All right, time to
we would get round to Will and loot the revive scroll, and I think he drops a healing potion and whatever other random gubbins.
move.
And here we are, a successful hero triumphantly marching in.
Thank you for your help out there. I'm Zevlor.
Zevlor thanks us for hiding on top of a hill while everyone else fights and dies. And then we get to the trader,
Just some bits and bobs on
who
your own.
absolutely can't afford to buy all of the stuff we've been hoarding.
Thank you, Ro.
And to make matters worse, I decide to move these people along by having their conversation so that I can steal from him. Because I really want those gloves of missile snaring. They're going to be instrumental. Luckily we roll an 8, or a 16 rather, having needed an 8. So that's easy. And we just sort of shuffle off up here while he calms down. He'll impotently wander around for a moment. This squirrel, just you know, just this squirrel, you know.
Get out!
The squirrel lunges at your foot and bites it.
Now we do have decks, so it has to be done.
You claim victory over the squirrel, though you're not sure why you were fighting to begin with.
Sometimes fighting squirrels is its own reward. Yeah, just more sort of pootling around. The quest for Salami, trying desperately to find Salami. I don't remember where it appears. I got nominally excited by finding this courgette. Close, but no cigar. Or indeed, no salami. I did briefly wonder if you can use a courgette, but you can't. It is not classified as a weapon. We save Sazza, because we will need Sazza to get us into the goblin camp later.
He's not here. They took him from me.
And then, yeah, we use our natural skill as barbarian at intimidation.
What in every hell is wrong with you?
That's a good question. I mean,
Damn you. Damn it! Why do you care if a goblin lives or dies?
something about the way the camera framed my character after she said that seemed
Sure, I get that.
particularly apt.
Bars don't make her special. But fine. Whatever.
It's alright, Arca. Let's go.
Cool, and then, yeah, more inventory management. We sell off other remaining stuff to Damon and pick up this nice shield, because having just picked up a spiky one outside, I forgot about this shield, which has a +1 to saving throws, and frankly, we need every little bit of help we can get. And that's where I'll wrap this one up. I will see you in the next one. Let me know if you like the format, if you want it to be shorter, longer, more condensed, less condensed. Yeah, drop me a comment. Bye.